Okay, next will be approval of field allocation requirements for tennis court rentals.
Hello, Board. Lauren Cox, Parks Manager here at the Town of Farragut. We are revisiting the tennis court policy presented by the Parks and Athletics Council at your August meeting. Currently, the McFee Park tennis courts allocation is open to any organization, and that happens in January, this coming January for the spring, and June for the fall and winter. At your August 11th meeting, a recommendation was presented from the Parks and Athletics Council that would prohibit anyone other than the schools located in the town of Farragut from participating in field allocation. They would have to come in at the prepay process later. During the citizen comment period of this agenda item, it was requested that the recommendation be revisited because home tennis matches, well, back up, we said it could only be used until 6:30 p.m. But the schools showed up and requested that we revisit it because they cannot play any matches, any home matches on our courts due to the limit of 4 courts. They would need to extend that time. Not necessarily to 9:30, but they wanted it to be available until 9:30 if they needed it. At the September 13th meeting, the Parks and Athletics Council voted unanimously to recommend the following changes to the rental regulation. The field allocation policy for tennis pickleball courts prohibits anyone other than schools located in the town of Farragut to take part in the process. Rentals by these schools are only allowed until 6:30 p.m. with the following exceptions. They voted to extend play, would be allowed up to a total of 10 days for regular high school tennis matches, but play would never extend past the 9:30 p.m. time. And they would allow for a total of 2 additional days for high school postseason tournament play if it was needed. But again, the play would never extend past 9:30. It wouldn't affect our tournament requests. We would still allow up to 2 tournaments per month for our tennis courts. Any questions?
Going to move to approve.
Second.
Okay. Any,
Yes, sir. We have 2 speakers. Our first one is Janet Morgan.
okay.
Hi, I'm Janet Morgan, 710 Fox Landing Lane, Knoxville, Tennessee, 37922. I'm a parent of a Farragut High School senior. She's been on the tennis team for 3 years, and we really appreciate these courts. They make Farragut High School tennis so much better. Being able to play in our backyard just makes the matches easier. It makes it feel like our community. It gives the kids kind of a little sense of belonging because we don't have tennis courts up at Farragut High School. So this past year, we had to play all of our home matches at West Hills Park. So it would be really great for them to be able to play at McFee Park. Those tennis courts are really nice, and we really appreciate it. So we thank you.
Thank you, Janet. Our second speaker is Michelle Lynn.
Hi, good evening. I am Michelle Lynn. I am a current junior at Farragut High School, and for my freshman year and sophomore year, I played on the Farragut High School tennis team, and it was such a fun experience, and I really, really love the team. And one reason that we really do love playing closer to home in Farragut is because the convenience for anyone that comes to watch, the overall school spirit of playing on our per se home turf. It's really special to us, and it's, like I said, easier for friends and family to come watch compared to West Hills. That's a 30-minute drive. Farragut is a lot closer. They can come watch, and it's a big impact on like how we view like, oh look, like all my friends are here, all of them are coming to watch, like I have to play better, let's be bearded. Like that's a big thing for us. And like I said, like playing on your home court, is really empowering. I'm sure you guys know with football and basketball, like when we play on our home courts, we do a lot better, and it's an overall such a great experience. And our Farragut tennis team has been so respectful with our courts. We will be cleaning up and we will be out by the allocated time at all times. Like I think last season we were basically done the latest if it was a super long match, and courts were very minimal, and we had to do all of our matches with only 2 courts. We only stayed until 8:30 at the latest. So we will not be there for a super long time. We will clean up after ourselves and bring Farragut some wins. Thank you.
Thank you.
Michelle.
Okay.
Did we get a motion? Did we do a motion?
Not yet.
Oh, I'll move to approve.
We did move.
There's already one.
There's already
Okay.
one.
I thought so.
Okay, discussion. We'll start with Alderman Meyer.
So a couple questions, Lauren. So in the first bullet on the document in our packet, it mentions other or anyone other than schools located in town of Farragut. So does that include the middle schools, like St. John Newman Middle School as well?
Yes, the middle schools could be included in allocated time, but
Okay.
they would not receive the extended
Extend time.
time.
Gotcha. So then my second question, is it 10 days per, we have 3 high schools. So is this 10 days per high school? So how's that going to be allocated fairly between the 3 high schools?
So at field allocation meetings, what will happen is if the groups meet together at 6 p.m., and if they cannot come up with an agreement on field time, it goes to our Parks and Athletics Council, and they help make a fair decision.
So all 3 schools have to be present at the allocation
Yes.
meeting in order for that to happen? Okay.
Is that all you
But
got?
I guess my only question would be, why wouldn't we just have a set number of days per school, and then if a school doesn't use it, they can give it to the other schools? Why do we, this just seems where the group is trying to, we're creating an environment where folks are competing for just 10 days. And I'm wondering if we could just say, hey, each school gets 4 days or whatever it is. There's only 3 high schools anyway. But what my concern is, it's always been my concern, is that the private schools are treated in the same fashion that the public schools are in this circumstance, not with grants. So we're okay with that. But for use of our facilities, the students at our private schools are just as much of citizens of Farragut as our students in our public school. So therefore, I'm trying to understand how we're fairly going to make sure each of the 3 high schools gets a fair amount of days with this policy.
Yeah, that's a good question. We invited every school inside the town of Farragut to come to our meeting.
Okay.
We followed up, every school got 3 emails
Okay.
from our department. Farragut High School showed up with their tennis coach, both tennis coaches, and then Concord Christian School showed up with their athletic director and their
Okay.
coach.
Great. Okay.
And they requested 3 days each. And so when the council started talking, they came up with 10 days. So that if another group did come in and want
Okay.
to have matches, there would be space for them.
So that answers my question. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Lauren, I'm glad you're prepared. Alderman Burnett?
Not a whole lot to add. I think it sounds good. I think the initial objective, when many of us realized that the courts were a part of field allocation and could be snatched up by a single group, it kind of scared a good bit of us. And so the initial response was protect the park, make sure they can't come in and reserve all hours and not leave anything for families in the community. So we did that. Now we're coming back. We've heard the needs, and I think this sounds very fair. So I'm excited that Farragut will get to use the courts, and especially those 10 days after. And I would love for them to come back to us and ask us for a few more because they're so far into the postseason. but yeah, so I'm excited.
Okay. Alderman White?
One question regarding the 9:30 ending time. How do you intend to handle it if you've got a tournament or something and you do have a match? You just going to turn the lights off, or what are you going to do?
We allow the lights to stay on 15 minutes past your rental period. So the rental period ends at 9:30. If anyone has the courts rented until 9:30, they do have a 15-minute period to remove themselves from the courts.
So after that 15 minutes is up, if they're not done,
Those lights go out.
they go out.
They do.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Vice Mayor?
Thank you, Lauren. I appreciate your presentation, and I think this is fair, and I'm going to support it. I want to thank Janet and Michelle for coming to speak on behalf of the high schools. It's always good to hear from residents and participants who get to enjoy these courts. So thank you. That's all I had.
Okay, y'all have covered pretty much what I had. So with discussion complete, I'll ask that all in favor, please vote by saying yes.
Yes.
Any noes? Okay. Looks like, let the record show that the allocations have been approved. Thank you, Lauren.